Hi guys, this is Rick from freeapple.com. This is a tutorial on how to use CSS and Sprites to create buttons in different states, such as in the link state, the hover state, and the active state. Sprites are used to shorten down loading times. They're a series of images kept within one image. So as your site loads, there's only one request for one image, and these images are split up and used all over your page. This is an example from ask.com. This search button here in its two different states, its link state and its active state, or its hover state, logo. And this one here is from Facebook. Various different images that are used all over the page. Using CSS, we can split these images up and use them wherever we like. We're using Photoshop CS5 and Dreamweaver CS5. I think most of this will apply back to CS3 at least. I don't know any further back than that. So into Photoshop, we've just opened up a new blank canvas. This one's 450 pixels by 150 pixels. We're going to create 3 buttons in a navbar style, and we're going to create them in 3 different states. So their normal state, the hover state, and their active state. So let's just start off by creating our first button, So we're just going to draw out a shape. Doesn't matter if we're exact, because we can press Ctrl T here to change the size. And we just come up to this white bar here, these two here, the width and height. Right click on them and select pixels, and we can just change the size of the shape and apply the transformation. And we'll just move it down into the canvas. Let's just change the background colour of this one. Let's make it a darkish grey, I think. Okay, and we'll just stylize this shape a little bit to make it look a bit more like a button. So we're going to use bevel and emboss. We're going to add an inner bevel, and we're going to chisel it hard, and we're just going to bring the depth down to about 30, and just reduce the size slightly. So here you can see it's just made it a bit more button-like. Add a bit of depth to it. I'm just going to add a small 1 pixel stroke, and we'll colour it black. We're going to make it inside position, just to highlight the button. I'll bring the opacity down on that one slightly. Oh, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, so the next step, we're just going to add a little bit of sheen to this. So keeping our rounded shape tool, I'm going to draw a new shape inside the button here. I should turn off these effects. Not on that one, on the other one. There we go. I'm going to change the background colour to white. I'm now going to select shape 1 and surround it with this, with the little ants. Just to select the shape, we click on this, press Control and click on this little picture here, and now press Control Shift I to invert it. Select the new shape that we've just drawn and press Delete. Just rasterize that layer. And press Delete. There we go. That gets rid of everything that's overflowing and keeps our nice rounded edges at the top corner here, around the bottom. And then we shall just reduce the opacity to about 15. It just adds a little sheen to the button there. Okay, so now let's add some text. In fact, let's just name these up so we don't get confused, as I am now. Okay, so we'll call that sheen, and I'll call this one navbar. Okay, so let's add some text. Let's put home, about, and contact. Okay, let's just move these into a more suitable position. Okay, so they're all fairly lined up with each other there. And the next thing we'll do is just separate these buttons so they're three different sections, and we'll just do that by adding like a guide shape. So we'll select a rectangle tool, colour it white, draw the shape out, and then Control T. Change the width to 150, which is the width of the button, and then change the height to 150, which is the height of our canvas. Apply the transformation, and we'll just place this underneath. We'll just add a little inner stroke on that one, just so we can see where they are. Duplicate it, drag that one across. Do this so we can duplicate, drag that one across. Okay, so now we'll just separate these buttons out with some shapes, with some lines. Choose our line tool. In fact, what we'll do, we'll take our pencil tool instead and zoom in. Create a new layer. We'll keep it white, and then pressing Shift, we'll keep the pencil line nice and straight, even if we drift off. And then on either side of that, we're just going to select a slightly darker shade. Just draw around either side of that. Okay. If we zoom back out, let's just tidy this up a bit. Get our stroke. There we go. Okay, and we'll just duplicate this layer and place it here. Okay, so they should all be nice and lined up now at about 50 pixels. Okay, that's it. We can remove these shapes now, delete them, and just center up this text into the middle using the Smart Positioning tool. Okay, that looks like a little there. Okay, so they're about centre now. And we'll just duplicate these items of text as well. Select the text tool, make them black. Change the name so we know which one's which. About copy, select the tool, make that one black. Same again with contact. Let's make that one black as well. Okay. And then we'll just place these underneath white text. So the white's on top. Select the three whites, hold Control and press the down arrow, and it just gives us this pressed in depth look, which looks quite nice when we zoom down. Okay, great. So that's the nav bar done. Not bad for 5 minutes work. And we're just going to select all of these and place them into a folder. Okay, keep it all nice and grouped together. Easy peasy. And then we'll just duplicate this group. So we'll change that to link. The next one's going to be our hover state. And we'll take this group here, drag it down underneath, like so. And we'll just take the background of this one, select the shape tool, and change the colour to something a bit lighter. Okay, nothing too mad. Just something that will highlight it look a bit more highlighted when the mouse is placed over it. And then we'll do the same again. We'll duplicate this layer and rename it active. And then we're going to just make this one, select the shape tool, change the colour of the background. We're going to make this one a lot darker, almost black. And this is the colour it will turn when we click it. And then we're just going to move this one down. Move this one down to the bottom. Okay, so there's our 3 buttons in the 3 states. The link state, which is what you'll see when the website loads. The hover state, which is what it'll look like when we put the mouse over it. And then the active state, which is what it'll look like when the mouse is clicked. So that's it, dead simple. Let's save that. Let's pop it on the desktop. And we'll save it as a PNG. If you're worried about size and loading times, you can save it as a GIF or a JPEG and change the quality settings. I'm just going to call this one buttons. Okay, that's it. There's our buttons all done. You can play around with the settings as much as you like. In Photoshop, if you're more savvy than I am, I must admit I'm not the best in Photoshop. But let's head over to Dreamweaver